Thank you, all of you, for doing that. Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. Definitely, you can check us out there. On Labor Day, September 2nd, we will go ahead on Labor Day and we will go ahead and be talking to all of you. Our Genesis Notary Services live stream. We're going to be talking to you here. So definitely, if you have questions, especially if you live in the Shenandoah Valley about the notary business, please go ahead and check us out. Genesis Notary Services Facebook.com. We definitely have wedding efficient. It's not just stamping documents. If you're looking for a wedding efficient, we're going to go ahead and help you with that. If you live in the area and you're looking for a field inspection, hey, maybe you want to checking out the Winchester area and you want somebody to go out there and independently look at the house, send you pictures, send you everything, tell you a little bit about the area. Our field inspection arm will do that for you as well. So we have general notary if you need to come to wherever it is. So definitely, we have some services for you. Genesis Notary Services, more busy every week. Thank you, Jesus. More people are calling every week. We appreciate it as well. Also, Legal Shield. See Charles Harris at wearelegalshield.com. Definitely check it out. The value of the Legal Shield is awesome. So definitely, if you are looking for Legal Shield as well, anybody that you need a lawyer, especially you businesses out there, definitely please check out Legal Shield so you can go ahead, and the value of it is it's tremendous. The value of the Legal Shield is tremendous. So definitely check us out. See Charles Harris Legal Shield, or definitely check us out on the Facebook page. Call the number that is there. Give us a call. We are more than happy to go ahead and take care of that for you as well. Two more things, like I said, been busy. Preview of the Maryland football, August 25th. So we're gonna review the Terp season on August 25th. That is the Sunday before the game next week. That week is the 31st. So Terp's about to start back up. Mike Loxley will throw out the first ball at the Orioles game here. So shout out to Mike Loxley there, and the NFL preview as well. So definitely check that out as well. The NFL preview, September, that's the day before Labor Day, September 1st. So definitely check that out. That's the scene for the Ravens start on Thursday. Probably next week, we're going to have a pregame show for the first game. We're going to go ahead and try that out. Oh, one last thing. Good news. Cigars and Sports, the Average Joe podcast. Definitely, I will be on there tomorrow. So definitely check that out. I will go ahead and link his absolutely, this guy, he's rooting for the wrong team. But this is exactly, somebody like him is exactly why I wanted to see like independent media, somebody just giving it from the muscle, how they feel, true sports fans. So very honored that he asked me to come on Average Joe Sports Podcast. Definitely check that out as well. All right. Let's get now to the business of the NFL. All right, training camp. First recap, takeaways, highlights. So that is the name of the stream. So training camp started now. We're at day about 9 today. It's hot, as we know, out there in Owings Mills. I used to live in Owings Mills. Some of you may know that I've watched this. You know, my mom I grew up there in the Owings Mills area as a little kid. My mom used to work out there near the Ravens, used to work at the restaurant, the old CJ's restaurant near the Baltimore, used to work. Yeah, actually, she used to see Baltimore Colts all the time. They used to come into their old CJ's that was out there in Owings Mills there. And so I know how hot it is out there in Owings Mills. Couple things here. No Keaton Mitchell yet so far. He's on PUP. No chance that Keaton Mitchell starts the year. I don't know why he's on PUP. I mean, they're doing it. How they're going to do it? Probably week 8. We're going to see him. Isaac, they haven't said much about, and we haven't seen him. I'm thinking they knew about the injury. They have it classified as a non-football injury, so he is not with the team at all right now. I haven't seen him at all. They haven't seen him at all at practice. Malik Ham from Baltimore City College is going to be on injured reserve, so apparently he got injured. This happened on Tuesday morning. So apparently he's out for the season, or at least for most of the season. as well. He's going on injured reserve. TJ Tampa has not started yet on PUP so far. Harbaugh did sound more, Coach John Harbaugh did sound more optimistic with him as far as getting him back uh, sometime pretty soon. So we'll probably see him before the season starts. A little bit more optimistic from things he's been saying. False start laps. So this is not anybody who's ever played sports. This is not new. Just as a new policy they've had this year. So anybody who has in the rule is offsides this off season, a player who jumps off before the snap runs a lap around the field. So when I played basketball, etc., they used to call these suicides or just go run a lap, where you go ahead and offsides. This is a tactic that teams that they're using just to keep guys on side. Hey, look, you can't stay outside. You can run a lap around, right? Seen a lot of offensive linemen get it. Ben Cleveland, unfortunately, according to what I've seen of it, is the one that's getting the most as well. But they are seen to be doing better, or at least it's not being reported that as many of these guys are on set. Offensive line definitely is a work in progress here at the start. First full practice Lamar Jackson had last week. He did miss several practices with an illness. He does seem to be fine back in action the last couple of days. And Elijah Sheen with a couple of throws and scrambling looked like the more MVP rather than somebody who missed 4 or 5 practices due to illness. ESPN reported that. Lamar, the first week or so, just didn't look good, wasn't well. He practiced one day and left after an hour. Then he missed the next day. So he came back and he looked fine. Lamar looked good. The offense totally has changed with Lamar in it. Obviously, when you have Lamar Jackson, the league MVP, I think he looked great as far as the practices go. So healthy Lamar is obviously good. A lot of a slow start. In training camp, sometimes we don't know. In regular season, they have to pretty much tell us something. Okay, well, guys are hurt or guys aren't doing well or blah, blah, blah. Training camp, they really don't say anything. Unless a guy is really out for the season, they'll kind of keep it close to the vest sometimes. But Lamar's back, and actually he's been out there he's been doing very well when he's had a chance to play and healthy. Derrick Henry wasn't a standout receiver with the Titans, but has faced challenges catching passes out of the backfield, joining with the Ravens. Now, obviously, this is training camp. They're working on some things with Derrick Henry. See if he gets to actually go ahead and use him more as a receiver. This seems to be a little bit more experimental. See how he catches the ball. See how his pass catching skills are. See if you can use him in a game situation like that. See if you have to. They're trying to get him on the field more. My biggest concern, one of them all season, is how John Harbaugh and I've been purposely saying John Harbaugh and not Todd Monken because I've seen this same trend with several different offensive coordinators. I'm purposely saying that he does not like the bell cow thing. Guys come in and out. That's not how the game went. That's not how the game plan went. This is the quarterback check, blah, blah, blah. Let's see now if Derrick Henry can catch more passes out of backfield, keep him in as a 3-down back more often, and then not. See, I would like to see that. So I definitely think they're trying it out. They'll be too discouraged by that. Training camp is for that to a certain extent. He's been stacking practices. Devontae Walker has been stacking practices. Rashad Bateman, luckily, has been good in the early days of camp, provided hope that he can have a breakout season. Rashad Bateman did have an injury. He was back at practice today. So Bateman has been hurt. He missed about 2 games. I think they were just being extra cautious again preseason. You don't know sometimes with training camp. They're out there, it's 100 degrees. Sometimes if it's a serious injury, you don't always know. Sometimes they're just being extra cautious with a guy, especially with a starter. And no, you go in the back, get yourself checked out, make sure you're good for the season when the season actually starts. We're going to need you. Devontae Walker, been hearing good things about him. Let's see if he can win the 3rd receiver job. Not a lot of talk about the offense. I think that's intentional. They're being more cryptic about the offense, but definitely Devontae Walker, So far, so good. Doesn't look lost. Doesn't say anything. Definitely been hearing good things about Devontae here in the start. Offensive line, as far as I'm concerned, this is the main event here for all of us because this is what we don't know, the offensive line. Andrew Voorhees remained the favorite at the left guard, while intense competition is brewed at right guard. Daniel Falele aims to start competing with Glenn Cleveland as Patrick Macchiari and Roger Rosengarten compete at tackle. So we were thinking before camp started that it was going to be Daniel Falele competing with um, Roger Rosengarten. Macari makes more sense. Makes more sense because they're similar in the way they play. There's a big difference. You're playing two different games if you are playing Daniel Falele. I mean, there's almost no way to play to run the same plays if you got those two guys in. In early, Falele has been getting the reps at right guard from what we hear. That makes sense. There's a hole there. I think he is a fit there. Definitely with his size. You could kind of maul at that position at right guard. He's not a Kevin Zeitler by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that might work, putting him at right guard. Very interesting to see how that goes. Josh Jones, his name isn't on here. He is competing. I've heard everybody's mentioning how good Voorhees is, and I think Voorhees is who they want to start. Bit of a roll of a dice, though. You have a very good defense week one when you play Kansas City, and you got a guy who's never played before, missed his whole last season, injury issues in college, as good as he is. Interesting to see. Quick overview. This is now unofficially what I think the depth chart to be as of right today for the Ravens on the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, Andrew Voorhees at left guard, Tyler Lindemann, obviously the All-Pro at center, Daniel Falele at right guard, Patrick Macari at right tackle. That's of now. Rosengarten has been hearing good things about him as of late, but I believe that's the way it is as of right now, the offensive line. I have noticed not a lot of talk about it, so that's not a good sign. Like, people asking him obviously about the offensive line. Harbaugh's been kind of sidestepping and cryptic. I think it's a couple of things. Maybe they're not performing as well. I mean, obviously the Ravens have a good defense, so they're working out the defense. So that's a thing that they have to, that, they're going against a good defense every day, and they're a work in progress. Also, too, that is kind of the nature of John Harbaugh in general. To me, he reminds me of two great coaches all time. Bill Parcells, the relationship with the players, and with the media, he's more of a Bill Belichick. He doesn't like to reveal a lot. Of course, they're asking about the line. He's not saying anything. He doesn't want to really reveal too much. But from everything I've seen, this is the first team. Guy on the hot seat, blazing hot. Marlon Humphrey has been terrific so far. He's got the most interceptions so far in camp. He's picked off Lamar Jackson. He was having a big fun. big lack of a better word there. Big fun with Devin Leary and Josh Johnson. So definitely he has been the best corner in the group. So that's something. A lot of competition. He's been great. Marlon, this is good to hear. I think Marlon is going to be fine as long as he's healthy. Marlon wasn't right all last year. Marlon had a lot of injuries. His hammy, he kind of limped into the season, and he was able to play, but he was never really himself. I think under different circumstances, he'd have had surgery, would have been out for the season. I think, but he would. The circumstances align where he kind of limped through the season and wasn't himself. I think we're going to have good things from Marlon. Trent Simpson has performed well in camp, facing no competition from Chris Board or any other player. He is your inside linebacker starter next to Roquan Smith from what we're seeing. That's kind of what the mini camp showed. Everything we've seen from Trent Simpson, everything I've been reading has been really good. Trent Simpson has been looking like the best inside linebacker as well. No competition from Chris. I do believe they're very happy with it as well. You kind of saw it at the end of last year. He's been well. He seems like a happy guy too, like a good guy to have around in the locker room. So it's good to hear that Trent Simpson has been doing well as well. And I think I mentioned this, but I mentioned this. Marham will be lost again in 2023 with an ankle injury, so he's not going to play at all this year as well with the injury. So Ham, I think, probably was in the conversation. Um, I think he was. I mean, for outside linebacker, edge rush, but we'll see. But we obviously not going to have him for a while here as well. Owe, again, I didn't do a graphic. Owe has been doing very well in camp, from what I'm understanding, doing very well, looking good. Defense as a whole has been looking really good. Offensive line is new, so they've been taking advantage of that. They haven't had Lamar Jackson. Offense has been looking better as of late, but with Lamar. So interesting to see how well they do during the season. Defense, not as much drama on that side. Not as much written about the defense because we know, right? We already know about the defense. We already know how good the defense is for the Ravens. So we understand. So that is it as far as the first week, as far as the training camp reports. Let's go ahead and check it out how the Ravens do going forward in training camp. First week, I think we're going to have a game next week. For those of you that like, really like preseason, it's good to see them on the field. I would say, though, if there is a game that I really like as far as preseason, it's the first game. Good to see anything on the field after so long, right? You're gonna have a lot of backups play. Stars aren't gonna play much nowadays preseason. Maybe you'll see some in the third game. You won't see it. You won't see Lamar at all in the preseason.